I put on 10 kilograms of muscle in just over a year. I'm going to explain exactly how to replicate what I did in the simplest sense. So, all of it comes down to, all of muscle growth can be summarized by this diagram. So, the 3 points of the triangle are nutrition, training, and recovery. If you have these three down, you will not, it's impossible not to build muscle. It'll always happen. It's just the laws of biology, the laws of the universe. Like, it's just, you can't get around it. No matter how hard you try not to, you will build muscle. So, if you want to just build muscle simply and easily, do these three to the best of your ability. And with that, you'll already be on the road for significant progress. So, the first tenet we're looking at is nutrition. Now, I'm sure you're ridiculously tired of hearing about protein. But it is true. For ideal muscle growth, you want to be hitting 0.7 grams to a gram of protein per pound of body weight. So this, let's say you weigh 150 pounds. A day of eating for you should look like 105 to 150 grams of protein per day, which sounds to an extent daunting, but once you get into the rhythm of things, it's much easier than it seems, especially if you have certain rules that you abide by, such as having a high protein breakfast. If you already start the day with 40 to 50 grams of protein in the 150 pound case, you are not far from your daily goal. But the thing about that, you don't really want to eat all of your protein at once if you're trying to be optimal, because how protein synthesis works, which what that means is your body absorbing it and using protein. So that occurs after you've eaten protein. So if this is your baseline, you haven't eaten any. Let's say you eat around here and it spikes. This is a rough diagram of how it works. So ideally, and in this spike, this is when muscle development, muscle repair occurs. So why that matters is if this is elevated throughout the day, you'll have the entire day to be able to build muscle, essentially. So ideally, you do want to keep it elevated. And all you have to do for that is split up whatever your daily amount of protein is, whatever you set for yourself, more or less 3 times. 3 times throughout the day. So standard would just be breakfast, lunch, dinner. You can go a couple more meals. You can get away with 2 meals. The point is you're eating protein throughout the day. Now, when in the fitness scene, micronutrients are quite underlooked at. We almost always only talk about the macronutrients, even though the micronutrients are arguably more important, as these are the things that really keep you alive and really make you healthy. So, specifically for bodybuilding and muscle growth, these micronutrients in some shape or form have to do with muscle function or muscle repair. So you have zinc, basically all of your B vitamins, vitamin D, calcium, magnesium. These are especially important. So in order to get these, you want to pay attention to what you're eating and try to make sure you're getting at least some amount of these. But be careful with that, because a lot of foods will have it listed online or on the packaging that it contains whichever specific one of these micronutrients, but in reality, it's being given in the form where your body can't efficiently or effectively digest it. So you want to mainly be sourcing these micronutrients from animal products, since these are generally the highest quality, and your body can actually utilize those nutrients in that case. So that gets us to our diet. What your diet should consist of in a case like this: you always want eggs. Eggs are arguably the most nutrient-dense food in the world. They're the king, really. Besides that, red meat, these again have more micronutrients, more fat. All dairy, really, assuming you tolerate it. The fat from dairy will be very beneficial for you, and the micronutrients as well. It'll help you out a lot. If you can't tolerate it, drinking it will be great for you. Excuse me. Besides that roughly covers your protein and fat. That's where most of your protein and fat should be coming from. Besides that, you want to be eating starchy, when it comes to carbs, focus on starchy carbs like potatoes, sweet potatoes, yams. And for pre-workout, fat-suggesting carbs, fruit will be your best friend. I almost always do like potatoes and fruit pre-workout, and it works great. That's a really just standard, like, you almost always want to be having some amount of carbs pre-workout. It just does seem optimal for training from what we've been able to observe. So make sure to get your carbs as well. And one thing, don't be scared of fat. Fat is what keeps your body running. Avoid polyunsaturated fats. Focus mostly on your saturated, and you're golden, really. Yeah, like that, you really can't go wrong. Now, training. I know this is what we've all been waiting for. With training, especially if you're a beginner, you want to keep it so simple that you physically can't mess it up. You physically can't excuse yourself missing a day. That's how simple you want it to be. For a split, you want to either do something like push-pull legs or upper lower. This is great for getting in the gym, and they're just very consistent. These will always show results. Me personally, I'm doing a modified push-pull legs, and it's going very well. When you start off, the urge to do like 6 to 7 days a week will be quite high. That's what I experienced, because you have all this motivation, you want to make this quick progress, but the truth is discipline will always be motivation. Motivation is just a fleeting burst of energy, and discipline is what makes results. in reality. So, and also, the truth is somewhere between 24 to 48 hours seems to be optimal for muscle growth, especially for natties, as we're working with a weaker hand, you know? So yeah, don't overdo it. You're just stumping yourself in that case. But also don't underdo it. Show up every time. So, how do you make this simple? 2 sets of failure per movement. 1 to 2 exercises per body part. These exercises should be what you actually enjoy. Experiment yourself. Find what you personally like. Don't listen specifically to an influencer when they're telling you to do whatever is most optimal, because a lot of the time, like especially with lat movements, like lat pull downs, this is like single hand lat pull downs, these guys built their backs in reality with compound movements, like pull-ups and rows, and now they're just trying to more or less market this science-based lifting concept, or their version of science-based lifting. Because obviously almost everybody believes that you should approach lifting scientifically. That's what I believe in as well. So, sample week, 4 days of training, upper lower rest, rest. This is bog standard stuff. How you want this to go is, you can design this yourself more or less, but you want to be following a template, something like this. So 2 sets of chest, 2 sets of back, set of bicep of tricep isolation as well, and then 2 sets of shoulders. So this could look like you really, for chest, it would a lot of times be worth it to do 1 or 2 movements in reality, because you want to have a pressing movement and a slide movement. So experiment yourself, what you enjoy. Then for back, all you need for back completely, horizontal and vertical row. Horizontal rows, T-bar rows, barbell rows, cable rows, chest supported cable rows, things of that nature. Any row, really. A vertical row, vertical pulling movement would be pull-ups, lat pull downs are the 2 really big ones. That's all you need for back. Bicep, tricep, really whatever isolation you enjoy. Biceps could be any kind of curl. Preacher curls would be a great option. That's what I personally do. Same thing for triceps, something like push downs or overhead extensions. It'll do you good. Then 2 sets of shoulders. Generally, there's 3 heads to the shoulders. It would also be worth for the shoulder to do 2 different movements for a vertical press and the lateral head, so the front head and the lateral head. So that would look something like a shoulder press and a lat raise, just any kind really. That's what I personally do as well. And then like that, you've done your entire upper body. You don't have to overdo it. So this would look like 3, 4, around 8 sets, which is around what I do as well. I find it to be good. A lot of people will start off doing like 15, 20 set workouts, which I've never been a fan of. It just feels like way too much. If you're training intensely, you can definitely do, okay, the thing is, if you aren't training so hard, you do want to do more sets. But if you're generally training hard, you can make fantastic results just from 2 sets per movement. Most definitely. Seguro. This is for sure. So, template lower. Two quad movements, a hamstring movement, a calf movement, and an abductors movement. To be honest, if what you're really looking for is an aesthetic physique, keep your leg training simple. Train your legs. I would never advocate to not train legs, but keep it simple. And don't put too much attention towards it. Really what matters for an aesthetic physique are your shoulders and your lats, and your back in general, right? Your outline. What makes the outline of your body? That's what matters. So, at this point, you might be wondering, we've got a lot of rest days here. Wednesday, Saturday, Sunday. What do I actually do during this time? And that brings us into the recovery section. So, if you think of it as a process, training is you're doing the damage to your muscle. You're making yourself weaker. Nutrition, you're giving your body the resources to rebuild. So far you've done the 2 steps of the 3-step process. Third step, recovery. This is when your body brings everything together, rebuilds your muscle, repairs your muscle, and where you actually get stronger and bigger. If you neglect your recovery, you're not doing the 3rd step. What are you doing all the rest for if you're not getting adequate recovery? It's all unused then, all this work. So, never neglect your recovery. Sleep is king. Get 7, 8, 9 hours, depending on your age. If you're a younger lifter, probably more on the 8, 9 range. If you're like a teenager, don't overdo recreational drugs. Minimize stress where you can, because you're already taking quite a lot of stress if you're training hard in the gym. So you don't want to add on top of it. It's just setting yourself up for burnout or just feeling like it's too much, you know? Like, you're much more likely to stick to it if you're feeling good while doing it, you know? So yeah, minimize stress in where you can. A lot of the time, there's a lot of things that people stress about that is completely unnecessary to stress about. Accept that some things are out of your control, and for the things that are in your control, dedicate yourself to it. That's massive for this. This is very, very important for everything in your life, not just bodybuilding. So, in conclusion, for everything so far, get these 3 pillars down. That's what I want you to do. Once you've done that, you're guaranteed to build muscle. There's no way around it. It's just the only option biologically. If, say, you're training a couple months and you feel like you're not making as much growth as you could, maybe, if you feel like you're floundering a bit, imagine this triangle in your head and think, what is my weakest link? A chain is only as strong as its weakest link. I'm sure you've heard this. Same thing for muscle growth. If your training and recovery are solid, but your nutrition is off whack, you're artificially bottlenecking your potential muscle growth. You never want to do this. You want to have overall at least decent qualities. That's how you build muscle. So in that situation, ask yourself honestly, what is my weakest thing here? For me in the past, it was probably nutrition. It can be hard to plan it. There's certain things that you can do to make it a lot easier, such as what I mentioned about the breakfast thing. So ask yourself objectively. When it happened to me, I told myself, I need to do better on my nutrition. And that's what I did. I ate more and I ate more protein. I ate more consistently. And that's when I started making gains again. Now, like this is the golden, you can't go wrong with this. There is a lot more to talk about. There's a lot more specifications, but this is a solid baseline. With this, you've already done at least 90% right. This is apart from this, there's just a few tweaks, few optimizations you can make to get that extra 10%. And I will be talking about that as well, but I really want you to focus on this. Yeah, that's all for today.